Hello, real estate investors. Hey, today I wanted to take you with me as I go out and look at a rental property, just kind of show you the things that I look for in a rental property. You may notice I'm doing a voice overlay. The audio was terrible on my original recording, but anyhow, getting back to the property, this is owned by a friend of mine. He's a local real estate investor. He's getting up in his mid-70s and wants to move closer to his kids. So it's a great tip to try to stay connected to all your local real estate investors. Make sure they know you're wanting to buy property, so they'll reach out to you when they get ready to sell. So this reason I started back here, I want to kind of show you the area. This is a golf course. So this property is right next to a community that has a golf course, a lake, pool, all kinds of different amenities, but it also has an HOA, which you have to pay dues for. That's really not good for rental properties. So the nice thing about this little area where this duplex is, there's an area where there's several duplexes, but they're not part of that community. So you get the benefit of living next to a real nice community with really nice houses, but you don't have to pay the dues each month. Now, the tenants don't get access to all that. There's the duplex we're going to look at, but they usually have a friend that lives in the community that can get them access to it if they really want it. So this is the entrance to that community I was talking about. And here is the duplex we're going to look at. Now, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, up-down duplex. Let's get out, take a look around. First thing, the property looks impressive with the brick, the big columns. The roof, it looks in good shape. I talked to the owner. He said he either put that roof on 4 or 5 years ago. So roofs typically last about 25 years, so you got some time on that. So look at the landscaping. Needs some work, obviously, but that's not a big deal. You don't want to overdo the landscaping on a rental property anyhow, just some basic landscaping. So I look up at this ceiling. It looks pretty bad. So we'll want to probably clean that and paint it or either put up some vinyl. Either way, not a huge project. As I look at buildings, particularly brick buildings, and particularly with basement apartments, I'm always looking for foundation issues. So look for stair-step cracks in the brick. As we look down here, you'll see there is some cracking. I talked to the owner about it. He said this downspout was disconnected at one time, which caused that problem. And since he's fixed it, it hasn't gotten any worse. So it's not that bad. So look around, not seeing any cracking. Need to clean up some weeds there. Everything looks good. Always want to make sure you have your downspouts connected. That can cause a lot of foundation issues. Those look good. Up here, over here is where that's my duplex I've owned for about 4 years, so that's nice. It's right next to it. This is the problem here with these AC units. These are getting old. Hopefully we can get a few years out of them, but we'll probably need to do some math to see what it looks like if we have to replace these right away, because these are fairly old units. So look at the post holding up the deck. I've had to replace these on mine. Mine were just in dirt. These look to be in concrete. These are cracked a little bit, but they look fairly solid. Not something we're going to have to do right away. I think these we can get quite a few more years out of these. Looking at the foundation, everything looks good. The owner next door stores materials there for his business. Need to do some weeding here. Now, one problem I noticed is this driveway. So each tenant gets a lane. So that's really going to be a hassle if, there's a car in front of you that needs to get out and you have to move your car, and tenants parking in other lanes. It's always going to be a hassle. But let's look in the garage here. First thing I noticed, there's no divider. The previous owner of the duplex I owned next door had put a plywood divider down. Not a big deal to add that. It's only a couple $100 to do that, so not a big deal. Around the other tenant stuff. Some drywall damage, not a big deal to fix, and it's in a garage, so we probably don't have to worry about it. Now, one thing interesting is the owner has owned this for over 20 years, and he has never had locks on these garage doors. I just can't imagine tenants store their stuff in here without locks on here. So we'll probably add a lock, probably just a hasp lock, and they can put a padlock on it if they want to. So now let's go inside and take a look in there. All right, as you walk in, I notice it's been painted, nice modern color, nice tile, high ceilings. As we walk in, the carpets look good. It's actually a nicer carpet than I typically put in a rental. This is the living room. Kitchen has been updated. The tile floor has been updated, I should say. Not a big fan of these lights, but once again, not a big deal to replace a couple of lights. Cabinets are older, but look to be in good shape, and we could always paint them if we need to. Countertops are in good shape. One thing I noticed, the old brown doors, I've updated those in mine. And in this one, they've at least painted the trim white, so we could also always just buy some slab doors and put them into the existing frame, so that wouldn't be too expensive to do. Closet. Some nice storage area here. So go into the utility room. You'll notice, once again, the older furnace to go with the old outdoor HVAC units. They have put in some nice tile. So washer and dryer hookup over here. And I just noticed they've changed this out to be an electric water heater. Most of these up here are gas, which I'm really happy to see it be electric because those are much easier to work on. The gas ones are just a pain in the butt to work on. So I actually like that. Hall bath. Looks like a newer vanity, newer lights. Things have been updated in here. It's got the tile as well. So it all looks good. Let's go in the master bedroom here. Ceilings look nice, nice fixture. Couple different closets. One of the main selling features, or one of the nice selling features of this property, it does have a ensuite for the master. So it's been updated as well. The tile, the vanity, everything looks good there. Going to look at one of the other bedrooms. Now, the nice thing about this property, I think it was built in 1996, so we don't have to worry about a lot of the issues when you're looking at older properties with cast iron pipe, lead-based paint, asbestos, on and on and on. So 96 build, it's probably all that stuff's going to be modern, so you don't have to worry too much about any major futures expenses for those kind of items. So all in all, place looks great. I've been through the upstairs. I'm not going to film up there because there's a tenant there, but it's in roughly the same condition, maybe not updated quite as much, but it's still in great condition. So I want to take a minute and show you how to do some quick math just using your calculator when you're out in the field. And then I'll come back at the end and we will talk about all the things I like and what I dislike, and talk about whether we think this is a good investment or not. I'll show you the quick and easy way that you can evaluate a rental property when you're out in the field looking at it, just using the calculator on your phone. Now I'm going to go through this very quickly. I've got videos on my channel that have more details about how to figure out all these numbers. But for this, I'm just going to go quickly and show you how I do it. So the average rent for these units is about $1,075 times 2 units times 12 months. That's your potential gross income. But we have some expenses we need to back out. So I multiply that times 0.85, basically reducing our gross income by 15% to account for 5% maintenance, 5% vacancy, and 5% CapEx. Now I need to back out the taxes. I looked up on the county assessor's website. We're $2,500. And then I know from the building I own next door, the insurance on these are about $1,200 a year. So I don't pay any of the utilities. So that's about all the expenses that I would have with this building. So that gives me an NOI of $18,000 roughly. That would also be my cash flow if I paid cash for it. If we divide that times the purchase price, which is $160,000 that he wants for that, that gives us about 11.4 cap rate. Your cap rate would also, if you pay cash for it, be your return on investment of 11.4%. I'm going to add 8,000 in here because I know those AC units are going to need replaced within the next probably 5 years. So that gives us about 10.85 cap, 11 cap, which is pretty good. So now if we want to figure out if we finance this, what our return would look like, I need to take into account the payments. So I'm going to guess based on the terms I could get that it would be about $650 a month. So multiply that times 12 to get it yearly. So that would take our cash flow down from $18,000 to $10,400 with a loan. But we are going to have less money invested. So if we take that into account, so $160,000, and my bank requires 20% down, so I'll multiply this times 0.2. That would give us about a 32.5% cash on cash return, financed based on our down payment. But I also want to include what it would look like if I have to spend the money for those HVAC units, which would be about $8,000. So that takes us down to 26% cash on cash return. All right, so after going through this property, some things that I dislike about it are I'm not really a fan of the driveway situation. That's always going to be a hassle. Don't really like that I'm got an $8,000 expense for HVAC units that's, you know, probably within the next few years. And also not a fan of up-down apartments. You always have noise issues when you have people above other people. And I don't really like basement apartments because you've always got a little foundation issue. Now you got water coming in the apartment. It could turn into a big, costly expense. But some of the things I like about it, I love the neighborhood. The exterior, it's low maintenance with brick and vinyl, so it should be super low maintenance. I also like that it's next to my property, so I have to come up here to mow anyhow, so it won't be a big deal just to mow one more yard. And for my area, I like the fact that it's 3 bedrooms. We don't have a lot of 3-bedroom properties for rent. And lastly, I love the numbers on the property. I think the numbers are good. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you think this is a good deal or not, please leave them in the comments below. And if you like this kind of content, please be sure to subscribe. And appreciate you all watching. Thanks.